Welcome to The Novelizers. I'm your host, Steven. Today's scene from The Matrix was novelized by Mark Steinbach, a writer for Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update, and narrated by Ophira Eisenberg, a stand-up comedian, writer, and host of the hilarious comedy podcast, Parenting is a Joke. She's a regular performer at the Comedy Cellar and other New York clubs, and you can also find her performing stand-up and storytelling on stages across the country. And joining me to tee up today's chapter, Ophira Eisenberg. Ophira, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us in person.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. No, I was excited. I was like, more Matrix talk. Let's do it.
Yeah, never too much Matrix talk. But first, I have a question. As a podcaster and a comedian and a parent, how do you record without the kids running into the room mid-recording session?
It happens. That happens. I mean, right now, to be totally honest, because of the time of day it is, my husband is around, and I asked him to take our 8-year-old to a bar. That's what we're doing.
No, okay, I will try that.
And you're right. It's like to a child, like doors mean nothing.
And walls aren't that thick either. So yeah.
Sometimes it's just come on in.
Cool. So you do a podcast about parenting, and I was realizing that in the Matrix, like no one has a parent or a child. Everyone's like raised by this. They're plugged into this computer. I guess you see the little baby in the tube thing. Is that the way? Pods. Is that the way things are going to go with AI? And if so, is it preferable? What are you? Some
combination of IVF and AI. AI gets its hand on the IVF technology, and then I guess it's so funny because I think when you think of sci-fi futuristic stuff, you float to these different things, and the Matrix is definitely a part of a certain genre. But I recently saw the most recent, I guess I was just thinking about the ones that are more destructive, where the world is full of garbage and wind.
Right.
It's not sleek and black leather. It's more garbage and wind and and people wandering through deserts. I think that's where we're going.
Yeah. So Matrix would be like the best case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward. It's just like a fingers crossed Matrix.
Yeah. And I was thinking, we worry about too much screen time. I mean, we're like at least...
Oh, my goodness.
...into the Matrix from the moment of conception.
We lost that battle during the pandemic, whatever was screen time. It was like, never let your kid watch more than 20 minutes of Sesame Street. And then during the pandemic, it was like, screens for school, screens for fun, screens for birthdays, screens. It's all going to be fun. Screens.
But at least we're doing better than the Matrix. I'm saying we watch that and we're like,
that's right.
Well, that's we've exceeded that bar. We don't just plug their eye hole into a tube.
I mean, that would be easier. I don't know about you, but I'm sick of all these different plugs I have.
I was like, good really? Someday, just the one
USB-C doesn't work with the lightning. You got to be kidding me.
Just the one neck plug. Everyone's no adapters. And just
no adapters.
Surgery.
I guess we won't have to worry about food resources, which is also
goes in the Matrix hole, I guess.
Yeah, Ozempic will be gone too.
Yes,
so maybe there's plenty of things to solve.
Your avatar will be exactly. So you graciously narrated a very funny chapter for us. Before we get there, do you want to? I don't know how familiar you are with the Matrix, but if we could talk, catch people up with where we are in the story. Do you remember at what point your scene comes in?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do remember the scene. Yeah, don't put me on the spot. Because it's a battle scene. I mean, I guess there's some exposition and there's battles.
Yeah,
that's the Matrix.
Right.
But we are in an action scene.
It is a total action scene. Neo has just learned he's not the one, but then he got a cookie, which cheered him up a little bit. And then I think that's all the setup you need for this chapter.
The greatest actor of all time in this role. How expertly cast.
It really is, though. Cool. Before we get to the chapter, tell our listeners where they can hear your podcast.
Oh, you can hear, as we say, wherever you get podcasts, but whatever your favorite podcast player is, you can listen to Parenting as a Joke. And so if you don't know what it is, I talk to other comedians and professional funny people and creatives about doing that career, unusual hours, unusual job, sometimes unpredictable job mixed with the unpredictability of having children. It's a fine dance.
Highly recommended. And you're also doing stand-up these days. You're touring.
I do stand-up all the time. Yeah, so I miss a lot of bedtimes, people. A lot of bedtimes.
Where can people find your schedule?
Yeah, you can definitely go to I have a website. Do people still have websites? I have one with my calendar. It's ophiraeisenberg.com. But I'm traveling, so maybe I'm coming to you. I'm going to Nashville soon. That's going to be fun. Nice. But you can also just follow me on the socials. I'm at Ophira E.
Well, great.
You know why? Because someone else named Ophira got all the just basic Ophiras. Can you believe that?
I got all the Stephen Levinsons, and there's much more famous Stephen Levinsons.
That's amazing that you got it. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I feel guilty. I just feel guilty.
You plugged into the Matrix ahead of them.
I did.
You did it.
It just means I'm older than they are. That's all. That's all it means. They're younger and more successful. And I got the Gmail address.
I got to say, when I saw the Matrix for the first time, I was obsessed because she's super badass, right? You don't get that all the time. I feel like one of the earlier female characters like that.
Yeah.
And she wore that big, long black jacket like they all do, black leathery jacket. Maybe it's pleather, maybe it's vinyl, looks like leather. And I, in a vintage store, bought a black leather jacket that was long. Right around that time, I wasn't thinking about the connection, and I was sitting at the subway stop waiting for a subway in that jacket, and there was a guy wandering up and down the platform, kind of giggling to himself, like a little unhinged. I'd say a little unhinged.
Yeah, it happens.
And he sat down beside me, and he was just giggling, and I was a little conscious of it, and then he just leaned in and said, "Are you from the Matrix?"
That is awesome. That
and I was like, that is the greatest compliment of all time. Yeah, exactly.
Right there. I love the idea that Carrie-Ann Moss is wearing the jacket off the set and just wandering around the New York subway. Hoping she'll be recognized. Yeah.
Waiting for an L train.
That is a badass compliment. Very cool. Any other memories from the? I usually ask people any. Did you see the movie in the theater? Did you see it later?
I saw the first one in the theater, and I saw the second two at home, and so I've seen all three, but two, just in the comfort of my own home, and then I found out there was a fourth that was released during the pandemic. Have not seen it, so maybe there's something great waiting for me. But that was so innovative at the time. Not only the world that was built, the 360 slow-mo backbend dodging bullets, and that was everything has parodied it or emulated it since. But also, I think Keanu Reeves' character, Keanu Reeves himself, the actor, if you put all of those movies together, I believe he has about 12 lines of dialogue.
Yeah. But he's the one. You can't argue with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of them is, "Now I know jujitsu." I don't know why that snuck out. That's always the one that rings through my head when I think about the movie.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us on the show. And Ophira Eisenberg, novelize us.
Chapter 14, The Gang Gets Trapped in a Hotel. Novelized by Mark Steinbach, narrated by Ophira Eisenberg. Mal studies a picture of the woman in red. After a while, his face breaks into a grin and his eyes go wide, the universal sign for hubba hubba. But before he can stare at the photo for several more hours, the phone rings. He picks it up. It's Tank, who says, "They're on their way." Before Mouse can ask who's on their way and where they're on their way to, we've already cut to the next scene. Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity pull up to an abandoned hotel, answering our questions from the previous scene. The three step out of the car and will heretofore be referred to as the Three Amigos. Cypher is also with them and has not yet earned amigo status. But he can if he performs really well in this upcoming scene. The Three Amigos and Cypher walk into the hotel. It's dingy, dank, and reeks of death. Neo immediately sees a black cat, which is famously a really bad sign. You never want to see a black cat, okay? Especially not as you are entering a terrifying abandoned hotel with two other people who have gotten you involved in nothing but violence and chaos for the last hour and a half. And to make matters worse, nobody else sees the cat, okay? So he's having some sort of hallucinatory vision, it seems, which is just what Neo needs, right? The Oracle basically just called him a loser. The cookie she gave him tasted terrible, and now he's probably going to have to get some sort of screening for schizophrenia right after they shoot up this cursed hotel. Anyway, then another black cat walks right by. So things have gotten officially weird for Neo. So he mutters, "Deja vu," under his breath and makes the face from the confused Keanu Reeves meme. The other two amigos and Cypher turn and look at him. "Why did you just say deja vu?" says Trinity, who is wearing sunglasses indoors. Cool. No reason, says Neo, who is not wearing sunglasses indoors. Secretly, he wishes he also had sunglasses, but, he's not going to make a big thing about it. "No, seriously, why did you say that? What'd you see?" says Trinity, sunglasses still firmly on. "Oh, it's NBD. Just multiple black cats walked by," says Neo. "You maybe didn't see them because you're wearing sunglasses in this very dark room. So anyway, yeah, multiple black cats just darkened my path, which can't be a good sign, as black cats are famously an incredibly bad sign. But screw it, let's just keep walking up the creaky stairs of this dark, ominous building." Trying to change the subject, he reaches for her sunglasses. She slaps his hand away. "You just experienced deja vu, you moron," says Trinity. "Two cats were a glitch in the Matrix." "A glitch in the Matrix? Is that bad?" says Neo, who is now wondering to himself if he can use his special Matrix martial arts to kickflip her sunglasses off her face and onto his. "Yes, dumbass. It's obviously bad. We're in the Matrix. So yes, it's bad to have a glitch in the Matrix." Trinity is officially annoyed, and at this rate, she will never give him her sunglasses. And frankly, he's starting to wonder if he even deserves her sunglasses. Before Trinity can tell Morpheus that Neo is a total dud and they should honestly call off this whole entire harebrained scheme, Tank buzzes in their ears. "They cut the hard line! We're trapped!" It's not clear what that means. But just to be safe, the gang runs upstairs, deeper into this incredibly ominous building that has now been confirmed to be a trap. They find a hotel room, but still seem pretty lost. They call Tank and ask him for a blueprint of the hotel, which will help them figure out a way to escape. "Hey, Tank, it's Morpheus," says Morpheus. "I need a blueprint, now, okay?" For sure, says Tank. "Do you want that as a PDF or anything?" says Morpheus. "Okay, I could do it as a HTML file, but then you have to open up in a browser. Do you use Firefox or Safari, Chrome?" "I don't care," says Morpheus. "Just send whatever." "Okay, so here's what I'll do," says Tank. "I will attach it as a PDF, but I'll also share you on a Google Doc of it. Now, should I use your @thematrix.com email or do you have anything? I don't care," says Morpheus. For sure. Also, okay, you're gonna kill me, but I just realized I never sent you your 1099 form, did I? "I don't know," says Morpheus. "Because you're a contractor, right? Like, I know Trinity is technically full-time in the Matrix and I got her W-2, but I just want to make sure that I have all of your tax stuff." "This isn't a good time," says Morpheus. "So when is it a good time, Morpheus? Because frankly, it feels like I'm slaving away here trying to get everyone's paperwork set while you guys just get to run off and do cool Matrix stuff. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I feel a little unheard, man. I feel unseen. Some nights before I go to bed, I look up at the sky and I pray that I don't wake up in the morning." Morpheus hangs up and leads the gang into another room. As they go, a man hands Neo a gun and says, I hope the Oracle gave you good news. Neo looks at him. The fuck? Are you serious? Says Neo. The Oracle was a total psycho to me. She said I wasn't the one, and now I have to kill Morpheus. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know, says the guy. She gave me nothing but horrible news and frankly acted very weird, says Neo. So, do I take this gun or not? I can't believe you just said this to me. Honestly, I don't know, says the guy. I just said that to seem cool. I mean, you should probably take the gun because of those black cats. Wait, you saw those black cats too? Well, no, I read the script. What script? The one we're acting in right now. So you're saying we're trapped in some sort of Hollywood script with no free will? Kinda sounds like... Neo turns to the camera. The Matrix. He makes the Keanu face again and then runs off to join the other two amigos and Cypher in some sort of elevator shaft which they're gingerly climbing down. They must move in silence as agents have descended on the building. Agent Smith walks the halls. He's flanked by several highly militarized police officers. Suddenly, Agent Smith spots Neo and company. He punches through the elevator shaft, but Morpheus bursts forth before he can get to them. Morpheus's head bursts through the brick wall, freeing himself. But in the process, he sustains a massive concussion. It's a head blow that would have killed a lesser man, but Morpheus lives. He's just severely brain damaged now and doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. Morpheus tells the folks remaining in the elevator shaft to just drop down the elevator shaft, which feels like terrible advice, but again, the guy has a severe brain injury at this point. The two amigos and Cypher, who honestly might just replace Morpheus as the third amigo at this point, take Morpheus's horrible advice as they plummet to the bottom of the elevator, dropping into some sort of sewer. As Trinity, Neo, and Cypher enter into a dark sewer world to fight more agents, Morpheus is still going at it with Agent Smith upstairs in a bathroom. Well, if it isn't the famous Morpheus, pleasure to meet you, says Agent Smith. Is that sarcasm? Or are you actually happy to meet me, says Morpheus. No, I was totally being sarcastic, says Agent Smith. It's not at all a pleasure to meet you, and I'm probably gonna kill you in like 3, 2. Morpheus grabs Agent Smith by the neck and bashes his skull up against the wall. Smith fights back, bonking his head into Morpheus, which thankfully reverses Morpheus's brain injury. Then Smith tosses him across the room at a disgusting nearby toilet. Morpheus gets up. He starts using some of his martial arts, which frankly he should have used initially. But Agent Smith seems to also know martial arts, so he judo kicks Morpheus into the toilet. Morpheus is, if we're just being 100% real, getting his ass kicked. This rebel leader, here to save humanity, just cracked his head on a toilet seat. Okay. Morpheus gets up off the bathroom floor, visibly reconcussed, and tries to take down Agent Smith, but he is too strong. They do roughly 30 seconds of martial arts, and Morpheus ends up, surprise, surprise, crumpled up on the floor like a bag of bones. Cops burst into the room to seemingly finish him off. Meanwhile, Trinity emerges from the sewer drain.
Thanks again to Ophira Eisenberg. Each week on the show, we interview someone who worked on the actual production of The Matrix. This week, an interview with Tyler Benedict. Kevin, take it away.
All right, we are here with another interview portion of The Novelizers. I am Kevin Carter, and I'm here with Tyler Benedict, who was the sunglass specialist on The Matrix. Tyler, how's it going today?
Kevin, it's great, and I just want to say thank you so much for shining a light on some of the unsung heroes of this amazing film.
Oh, well, you know what? You know what? Damn it. No one's ever said that to me, and I appreciate you appreciating me. I really do.
Well, you deserve it. You know, you're doing a great thing, and, you know, it's after a long career in sunglass specialty, you know, I know that folks in our industry don't often get the flowers they deserve. So, you know, I just want to spread some of that love back to you because we do appreciate the opportunity to talk about it.
And I appreciate it. Speaking of not getting that opportunity, I think we would like to know, how did you get this opportunity to be the sunglass specialist on The Matrix?
That's a great question, and it actually goes back a ways. You know, when I was a kid, I loved sunglasses. That was my obsession. Some kids are into dinosaurs, some kids are into trains and trucks, and I loved sunglasses. Before I got the gig on The Matrix in the late 90s, I was a kid coming of age in the 50s and 60s, and Steve McQueen in the original Thomas Crown Affair, and James Dean, and they could rock a pair of shades, and I thought, I wish I could be cool like that, and so I decided to devote my life to the craft of eyewear.
Okay, yeah. So, but it's like when you hear the words "devoting my life to the craft of eyewear," like, I would have assumed you were going to be I don't know the right term, so I'm just going to say eye doctor. I would have assumed you'd have been an eye doctor, just supporting, to follow your true life. But you went into the world of sunglasses. Why not an eye doctor? Why sunglasses?
Well, honestly, I didn't have the best childhood. My father actually was one of those dads who had a second family in a different town over.
I know about that.
So I feel. Do you really?
Oh yes. I think they say 7 out of 10 people, their fathers had second families.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, and we actually were the second ranked family. He would come into the house and he would say, you need to step it up, because my prime family, is really making me feel appreciated. And I just felt as though the lessons I learned from him were all lessons of deception and disguise. Mm-hmm. And so that's what drew me to the eyes are kind of the window to the soul, Kevin. I don't know if you've heard that.
I have never heard that, but man, that sounds good. And so as a result, I didn't want to let anybody in. I was a scared kid inside, but I knew that if I had the right eyewear outside, I'd be like, I'm like Marlon Brando. I'm a rebel with a cause, And so actually, I dropped out of high school, in Long Island, and I actually apprenticed for a time in Italy with a boutique lens maker who was making these sort of one-off sunglasses, because I just wanted to get away from everything. I didn't want to be myself anymore. And so I decided to pack it in and work and devote my life to sort of this meditative craft of covering up the hurt. I understand that. And for one, let me speak for everyone here. We're sorry you had to go through that. Nobody should have to go through that. But enough of that, respectfully. How did, I apologize. We just try to get to it. You know what I'm saying? How did you get the job to do The Matrix?
Oh, well, so I apprenticed for a time, as I said, with Antonio Corelli, his name was. And it was actually through him, I saw a magazine lying open in the workshop one day, and they were looking for these very specific look for sunglasses for this thriller sci-fi film. And the filmmakers, the Wachowskis, had put this ad out, and they were trying so hard to get this film made, and they really had a specific vision in mind. And I was drawn to them as soon as I sat down with them, because they had really thought deeply about the look that they were going for, and they knew that it wasn't something you could just get off the rack at Kmart, or at Sears. They were looking for these boutique specialty pieces. And I don't mean to brag about this, but I was probably one of 10 people in the world who could have made the sunglasses that you see in The Matrix. And each character had a specific personality that had to be reflected in those glasses.
Do you think the fact that you were one of 10, do you think that's still a lot of people? Or do you think like, oh, I'm in a rare class?
Oh, I'm in a rare. How many people are there in the world now? 7 billion, and there's 10 of us that could do at the time. I mean, sure, overpopulation's a problem, Kevin, but I think that if I had dropped dead in the middle of filming, I would have shut the movie down. That's what they told me. They told me that every step of the way. We have to protect you, because if something, God forbid, should happen to you or any of these glasses, we're going to have a bear of a time trying to get the movie back on track. So I actually had to live I had to live in a concrete sort of isolation, a sort of a safe house for the duration of the film. I would be on set every day to make sure that everything was the way it was supposed to be and keep on top of the sunglass continuity. And then end of day, the bell rings. All right, Tyler, you got to go back. I had a guy walk me to my safe, undisclosed location, and they would come and pick me up the next day with the car. And that's the way it was for the entire time that we were doing that shoot.
This is giving me very Better Call Saul vibes, when he was building the lab underneath the ground or something like that. But that's neither here nor there. Once again, I apologize, because I feel like nobody should have to be watched 24/7 like that, especially when there's 10 other people. But that's just me.
I appreciated it because I felt valued. It really showed me that they cared about me, and they wanted me to be safe.
I get it. Hey, listen, I'm not here to knock it. I accept it. It's just when someone says it's 1 out of 10 people, I'm like, well, only 11 people want to do it. So that's not a good number. But it's neither here nor there. Question for you. And we like to get a little juicy, some gossip, something like that over here. Who wore your glasses the worst in that movie? That you was like, it took you a while to really find their look, and it just didn't work.
You know who the most annoying person was on set the whole time? And, this might surprise you, but Hugo Weaving, who played Agent Smith, he comes off as this sophisticated guy. He's done Shakespeare. He was obviously in the Lord of the Rings franchise. I haven't seen those films because there's no sunglasses in that universe. And so I have no reason to even worry about it. But no, Hugo was terrible. He was like, why? Who cares? He wanted to take the glasses home at the end of the day. I said, no, you have to put them back in this case. I need to look after them. You can't wear them out to the club. And he would get really, he comes off as this very stoic figure, but he would get in my face and he'd start pointing. Yeah. And, this terrible Cockney accent would come out. He's not as sophisticated as he seems in films. I would say that he's a master of deception as well. And it really triggered something in me because, I just had these memories of dealing with my father over and over again about how, we would just almost come to blows each day because he wouldn't understand where I was coming from. So if I see him in the street, I'm walking the other way or we're going to throw hands. I have to say it. And I hope he hears this.
Yeah, he might. It's funny you brought up Hugo. I think I know why he acts that way. But who wore it best? Let's go with that. But who wore it the worst? Who wore it the best?
Yeah, I can pull back the curtain on the whole cast. But, a person who there's the polar opposite of Hugo was actually Lawrence Fishburne. Larry, I call him Larry. We're that close. Larry, Larry Fish.
He even went by Larry, but you call him Larry. Okay.
Well, you wouldn't, Kevin, because you're not on that level with him, and that's okay. Not anyway. I'm not a run-of-the-mill person. I don't say that to be egotistical. I don't say that to put myself on a pedestal. I can call him Larry. And Larry he understood immediately what we were trying to do. And as soon as he saw, and his glasses are some of the most intricate in the film, it clips right onto his nose there. There's no earpieces, and they have this beautiful reflective quality to it. And every time he put them on, we had to actually glue them on his face with this industrial adhesive because, they would fall right off. And every time he would just be so grateful. He would say, these glasses are going to make my career. Okay, because Lawrence Fishburne, he wasn't really a name actor at that point in time. I don't think he wasn't anybody until he put my sunglasses on. And then, he became a legend. You still see that memes and stills of those glasses. And he actually got so into them. I let him take a pair home at the end of the shoot. The only person I let do that because I knew he would appreciate it. And he actually looked to invest with me in a kiosk at the Westchester Mall, a sunglasses kiosk that did good business for quite a while.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, until the recession. Yeah, the Great Recession finally came and shut us down because
the Great Recession is the
reason
why
the economy took a turn.
Didn't work. The recession is why the kiosk didn't do with the sunglass kiosk. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And we really tried hard. Larry was calling anyone that he could, trying to use his connections to get us a bailout the way they did for the auto industry and the banks. But the sunglass kiosk, nobody cares about the little guy.
Yeah, I understand that. And I respect it, being that way. When it comes to this kiosk that you guys had, what was the name of the kiosk?
Oh, it was called Morpheus, because he was the face of it, and we had a lot of cachet because of the film.
Yeah.
But the problem wasn't really so much the name as it was the location. They stuck us at the end of the mall next to the little train that goes around. The little train they have at some of these malls for the kids. And children are not they're not sunglass consumers. They don't want a specialty eyepiece. They're more into the plastic stuff, and I just don't do that. I don't play that way.
Yeah. Understandable. Question for you. I was talking to some friends the other day, and apparently there's this thing where people are starting to go to sleep wearing their sunglasses. How do you feel about that? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's actually that's an interesting part of our industry. I would say to people out there that are wanting to get in on the trend, I absolutely think go for it. However, you want to make sure you have a specialty pair of sleep sunglasses. You can't be wearing your daytime pair to bed. You roll over, they fall off, you crack them, right? It's not any way to treat your going out sunglasses or your primary pair of sunglasses. But if you go to my website, which is eyesbybenny.com, you can find a wide line of collapsible soft sleep sunglasses, and you can actually take your sleep to the next level. That's eyesbybenny.com. You might have to go to the second page of results, but it's there.
Also, it's not on the first. There's a lot more Eyes by Benny's out there to where you got to go for the second page. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're actually in a lot of legal battles right now trying to protect our trademark. There have been a lot of people. There's an organ donor organization that actually is it has the domain name that we had to take to court, and we got it. So the name should be fine. We've got there's another guy who sells Italian ice. So it's icebybenny.com, and that's that. I feel like that's too close. Yeah. He can change it.
Being confusing.
But again, Kevin, I'm no stranger to how the business world works. I've devoted my life not only to high quality eyewear and film, but also to advancing the craft, right? Of me and there are dozens of us out there, Kevin, that are doing this work, and we deserve just as much attention as a sculptor
okay, because you saying dozens, you said you was one of 10. Are there dozens now?
Yeah.
Or have y'all grown? With people to do this?
Well, yeah, we've actually thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about another pet project of mine. We actually have a scholarship, endowed scholarship fund for young sunglass entrepreneurs or people that want to become really sunglass artisans. I would say the entrepreneurship piece is nice. If we make a little money doing this, but we do it for the craft. And so we have this organization that will Lenses for Lads and Lasses. That's the name of that one. Because it's for the youth. And we try to find kids who are underserved or underadvantaged or just simply want to learn some traditional sunglass techniques. We find them all over in Europe and South America. And we've got a great promising prospect from Lithuania right now. You remember his name, Boylaj Wachowski. Remember his name. And he will be on every magazine cover. I think. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to the movie, there was parts in the movie where I feel that the sunglasses weren't really prominent, right? There were scenes where nobody was wearing sunglasses. There were scenes where I think sunglasses were being broke. Like when there's broken sunglasses, after you've put your heart and your sweat into, these sunglasses and they just break them for props. How does that feel to you, as the person that created those glasses?
Well, those were stunt glasses, Kevin. I didn't put love and care into those. I knew they were going to be destroyed, gotcha. Right? So you understand that, there are some that you devote time to. It's just like a love affair. You put effort and time into some of them, and some of them, you're going to break them in a short period of time. And so, you don't really, you feel nothing. You feel nothing when a pair of sunglasses breaks on a movie set, unless it wasn't supposed to happen. And that did occur one time, and I threw a fit, and I went over, and I ran in front of the cameras. I said, "Stop tape." And they said, "You're not supposed to say that. We say that." And I said, "But there's a sunglass emergency." And I had to perform a little sunglass surgery right there on the soundstage. And it took quite a bit of time. And everybody was very upset because the film was already behind schedule and over budget. But I kept insisting. I said, if you brought me in here for a purpose, and if I can't serve that purpose, I might as well go back to what I was doing, because I'm in this. I work alone.
And what did they say when you said that to them?
They said, "Well, we can probably find one of the other 10 people who can do your job," because they love the opportunity, and that actually shut me up. That was my Hollywood moment, Kevin. Sometimes you get a little big-headed in this business, and I was trying to throw my weight around and flex my muscles, and they humbled me, to their credit, and that's what I needed to hear at the moment.
Yeah, and that's normal. That's normal in this business. As somebody who's been out here a lot in the LA scene, you're humbled a lot. Say out here, and I had to learn that. Because I know you did the movie in '99, but it was like this is new to me. Hollywood. And I don't have sunglasses. I'm just out here, just sun in my face. I'm squinting, so I look like I got an attitude with everybody, but it's not that. It's the sun's in my eyes, and I can't really,
So we have to get you a pair. We have a great entry level pair that would suit even your budget. That would keep the glare off, and I tell you, it will take your career to the next level. Listen, off mic. Give me your address. Give me your specs. I will send you a custom fitted pair. And I will listen. If you don't like them, I'll take them right back.
All right. I'm glad. I'm actually glad you brought up my career. I don't tell nobody this, because nobody knows. I am in the process of writing scripts and just trying to get out there in the world. Trying to get out there in the business. Let people know I'm pretty creative and things like that. And I actually wrote something that I feel you would be great for. And this is kind of like divine, because it's you. And I had already kind of had this written, but it was like, so I have to tell you about it. That's okay. The title, right now, all I have is the title. And the title is Benny and the Specs. And I feel like that speaks a lot to, say your name, but also to what you do. I feel like it could be a movie about sunglasses and how, like, it's almost like the reverse of A Quiet Place. If you take the sunglasses off, you die. And I think that'll be a great movie. But I need somebody that can really give these sunglasses a new look, and to really make them pop.
Kevin, I love that. And I listen, I know you didn't ask, but yes, I will sell you my life rights to be used for your script. I would love to have a biopic made about, a guy who can't take off his sunglasses. Yeah. That would be just that would be the apotheosis of everything that I've been trying to do in this world. Great. But, I think that's wonderful. I think that, again, if I can be candid and I can be frank, those are the kind of films that aren't getting made today, and we need them. We desperately need sunglass-focused films.
There's people out here that's not wearing sunglasses whose pupils are dying every day, and someone needs to say something. Somebody needs to speak up.
That is exactly right. And, I'm glad that you're willing to do that, because so many people have been brainwashed that their pupils don't matter, right? That their pupils can shrink to the size of pinholes and they have no effects. That's not actually true. Every time your pupil shrinks, it knocks milliseconds off of your life. That's just a fact.
I agree.
Every time it shrinks, and it's just like it's sun exposure, the same as a UV rays are getting in your eyes as they are in your skin. So take it seriously, is what I say.
I agree. And that's like a great way to end the interview portion of the Novelized with a little knowledge, a little go home homework to do. And like, are your pupils okay? Are you dying slowly, a little bit faster every single day? That's something to think about. Tyler, I want to thank you for joining us today and a great interview.
Kevin, thank you so much. Yes, and please, if you could, just visit that website again, eyesbybenny.com. We need all the help we can get.
Will do. All right, this is Kevin Carter of The Novelizers signing off.
Thanks, Kevin and Tyler. That does it for this week's episode. Please join us next week for a chapter novelized by Nita Haberline, with narration by Scott Ackerman and an interview with Michael Hartney. Stephen, unplug us from this matrix.
Sure thing. The Novelizers is produced by me, Stephen Levinson, with Graham Douglas, Kevin Carter, Christine Bowen, Dennis DeClaudio, Rob Kuttner, and Sucheta Spokil. Music by Cole Emhoff. Theme song by Andrew Lynn. Graphic design by Crystal Dennis. Special thanks to Chris Karwowski and WYSO Radio in Yellow Springs, Ohio. The Novelizers is a work of parody unauthorized by Warner Brothers. Follow The Novelizers on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and TikTok, and please donate to our Patreon. Copyright 2024, Novelizers, LLC.
There was a matrix made of computers. There was a guy who could dodge all the bullets. He lived in fluid, just like a fetus. But he was born again like baby